In this quiet little town, down some narrow old streets where the yellow streetlights hum in the evenings, there stood this blue-painted house with a wooden porch swing that creaked just a little every morning. Next to it, a few plants, basil, money plant, and a tiny rosebush swayed in the cool breeze. You could smell coffee drifting out from the kitchen. That was Rachel and Andrew's house. Rachel's soft smile, hopeful eyes, Andrew kind-hearted and grounded, the guy who once came to this small town and never left. They'd been married 15 years, ups, downs, laughter, and a whole lot of love. But that morning felt different. Rachel was pregnant. In just a few weeks, they were going to be parents. "What do you think it'll be?" Rachel asked, with that mix of nerves and excitement only moms-to-be have. "A boy or a girl?" Andrew grinned, setting his mug down. "I dunno. But if it's a boy, I'm taking him on morning runs, teaching him to swim, and telling him stories about the stars. I'll make sure he grows up kind of like the dreamer I was." Rachel smiled. "And if it's a girl," Andrew laughed softly, "if it's a girl, she won't need me to teach her anything. She'll learn on her own from life itself. But I'll hold her every night, listen to her tiny stories, and love her like she's my world." Rachel's smile trembled. "But when she grows up, she'll leave. What then?" He held her hand tight. "She won't really leave. Her roots will always be here, babe. Always." They started dreaming of names, futures, bedtime stories, and baby clothes. Andrew pulled out old storybooks again, and Rachel made little changes around the house, setting up a corner for their baby's arrival. Then came that rainy afternoon. The sky was grey, the air was damp, and the sound of the first cry filled their home, soft, pure, alive. "It's a girl," the doctor said, smiling. Andrew's eyes filled up, and he held Rachel's hand like it was the only thing keeping him upright. They named her Hope, because she really was the light they'd been waiting for. From that day, the house had a whole new heartbeat. Hope's laughter, her tiny giggles, and her soft breathing at night were all they needed to feel complete. Hope grew up like sunshine in slow motion. Her first smile, her first step, her first mama, each one a gift. Andrew took her to the farmer's market every morning, showing her what life looked like beyond walls. "That's where we buy veggies, that's where bread's baked." Rachel hummed bedtime tunes and told her stories so sweet even the walls seemed to soften. But life ain't always a smooth ride. Andrew's small grocery store started struggling after a big supermarket opened nearby. Customers disappeared. Savings went down. One day, his old buddy Sam, who owned a small tailoring shop in town, said, "Man, why don't you come work with me? Help with deliveries, you'll get regular work, and maybe keep your shop afloat too." That felt like a lifeline. Andrew took it and worked his tail off. Slowly, money started coming in again. Still, there was a certain weight in his heart, a father's worry for his daughter's future. Rachel Calmer, meanwhile, became the rock of the home, cutting down on small expenses, tutoring Hope herself. She taught her math with wooden pieces, turned lessons into games, and Hope started loving it. School became her playground for curiosity. Andrew noticed it one night when she asked, "Dad, how do you find the perimeter of a triangle?" He chuckled. "Let's make it a game." He built little triangles out of wood and showed her how to measure. Learning became laughter, and numbers turned into stories. Hope kept shining top of her class, curious, kind. But the more she grew, the louder the small town talk became. "Girls' education ain't worth the expense," some said. "She'll get married and go anyway." Andrew sometimes fell quiet hearing it, but Rachel always said, "We don't live by their words. Our daughters' dreams matter." Years passed. Hope topped her high school exams. She won a scholarship to New York State University. That night, when she told her parents, there were tears in all 3 pairs of eyes. "Dad," she said softly, "I'm ready. I promise I'll make you proud." Andrew hugged her. "Go chase those stars, kiddo. Just don't forget where home is." College brought a new world, new experiences, new friends. There she met Ethan, an engineering student who was sharp, kind, and honest. Their friendship turned into love that felt easy and honest. When Ethan came home to meet the folks, Andrew asked the usual dad questions. But soon he saw the decency and spark in the young man. Rachel liked him instantly. He spoke with warmth, respect, and genuine care. When marriage came up, relatives had their opinions again. "Daughters always leave," one aunt said. But Rachel smiled gently. "She's not leaving. She's just growing, and her happiness will always be our home." The wedding was small, simple, beautiful, just laughter, tears, and memories. During the goodbye, Andrew whispered, "Wherever you go, remember this house is yours." Hope cried and said, "Mom, Dad, I'll never forget where I came from." A few years later, Hope called with news that made them both tear up again. She was going to be a mom. For Rachel and Andrew, it was like reliving their own beginning. When the baby was born, they named her Grace, the tiniest bundle of joy with laughter like wind chimes. One evening, Rachel told Andrew, "You know what? Grace found your old porch swing today. She sat in it, laughed her little heart out, like it belonged to her. Andrew's eyes shimmered. That swing, that sound, that love, it had all come full circle. Now the house buzzed with life again. Photos on the walls, laughter echoing off the ceilings, coffee on chilly mornings, and stories at sunset. Neighbors sometimes said, "Your daughter's story inspired so many. We're sending our girls to college too." Andrew would just smile quietly, proud, humbled, grateful. And one golden evening, the whole family sat at the park. Grace swung on the swing while Rachel, Andrew, and Hope watched the sunset paint the sky. Andrew whispered, "Rach, look at that. Who'd have thought our little dream would become someone else's hope?" She leaned her head on his shoulder and said, "We never lost a daughter. We just gained a world." Time slowed down for a moment. Grace ran up, laughing. "Grandpa, when I grow up, I'm going to help people just like you do." Andrew's eyes filled up again. Rachel had that tired but peaceful glow, and Hope looked at them both, smiling quietly, knowing she'd lived their dream forward. Because daughters aren't something you lose. They're the legacy you live through, the heart of a home that keeps beating long after walls grow old. And if you ever walk down Maple Street, you'll still hear laughter drifting out of that blue house, a reminder that love, care, and family make any small town story eternal.